She Watched contains adult themes and adult language. Listener discretion is advised. Murder She Watched is for entertainment purposes only. Isn't that fancy?
Very fancy. And every time I hear that theme song, I think of, what do they do? Is it Amy shuffling her papers?
Right. Is it like a newspaper somebody's reading? I don't really know. Guys, welcome to Murder She Watched, the podcast where we solve murders from our couch. I'm Amy Archer. I'm here today with Mary Payne Gilbert from Pink Shade. Hi, MP.
Hello.
Or as we call you, you know what we call you. Homeroom mom. You're the homeroom mom.
Okay. I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. I got to tell you that I think that as much as I've been dying to come on the show, I think you gave me this short stick.
This was a tough one, man.
I was like, how come I can't get, why did I get this one?
Yeah, it was okay. So let's talk about an overview of like how we felt about the documentary. So, guys, we are talking today about Aileen, Queen of the Serial Killers. It came out on Netflix like maybe 2 months ago? No, a week ago. I'm sorry.
Came out in October. Yeah.
Brand new. Mm-hmm. I did not know anything about Aileen Wuornos going into this. I knew there was a movie.
Yeah. Yep.
That was it. Mm-hmm. I didn't even see the movie.
I knew that she was a prostitute serial killer that killed her Johns, and that much was made about how unattractive she is, and that people were upset when Charlize Theron was playing her because she is so universally beautiful. But then she won an Oscar for making herself ugly. So there you have it.
Yeah. I have a hot take on that. I do not think she's that ugly. Like
I didn't either.
I don't know what I expected to see, but I was like, she is perfectly fine looking.
Yeah,
I mean, she's rough. She's lived a life, you know. She looks rough.
Yeah,
but she's pretty.
I thought, you know, just a little Invisalign and a good haircut would fix her right up. Yeah,
I agree. Like I thought like she has. What did they say about houses? She has good bones.
She had good bone structure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, she had good bones. You could work. Like I don't know what I was expecting to see, but wow, no. So coming into this not knowing anything about it, and right before we started recording, I was watching Monster just to watch it because I wanted to see
I asked you last night, do you think I should try to watch it? And you're like, no. Okay.
Mary Payne, I'm so far down a rabbit hole with this case. You have no idea.
Okay, great.
I've been like,
then you tell me everything. I love it.
Yeah, but I don't feel, I think it's the academic in me that I can't shake out. Like, I don't feel that I have a complete sense of it yet. So I'm going to have to do a deep dive next week on this because there's so much. But my criticism of this film is that coming into this cold, not knowing much about her, I felt there were a lot of gaps that I had to do my own research.
Well, when I was texting you last night, I was like, what about this? What about this? And you're like, here's the thing. It's not a good documentary if you're having to do your own research. Somebody like us coming in knowing nothing. I was like, where are we in time and space? And then as we're seeing like clips of old timey stuff, and realize none of this is even her. They're just showing like clips of people on the beach from the 80s. I was like, what is this footage of these children playing in the yard? Is this her? Or is this like, did you grab this from my mom's house? Like, it looks the same. I just didn't understand. Listen, it wasn't well done, and I'm upset about that.
I have to admit that at first, when I saw the footage on the beach, I'm like, oh, who's filming them? Because I thought it was her.
Because it's not
her. It's stock footage.
It's stock footage. It's not clear. The whole thing is upsetting. I felt as we got closer middle to the end, we got a little more information. But let's, for me, I'm like, let's start at the beginning. Let's start at where was she born? How did we get to this point at the end?
Give us a little bit of backstory. And also what I thought was really interesting is we know next to nothing about the victims.
No, I only get that one guy's name they kind of said a few times, Sellers or something, but we didn't hear about the other 6 really.
No, this was not it was not a victim focused doc, but it also like, it was just, I think Okay, so I will say this too. When I was done with it, I was in a blind fury, in a blind rage about
Okay.
some things that happened to her in the justice system, which I
Uh-huh.
mean, we expect to be in a blind rage about the justice system at all times.
Generally, yes.
But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't know. It just so I think, and I'll get to it, but I think I know what they were trying to say. I think they were trying to show how she was treated as a woman serial killer versus how we treat your run of the mill male serial killers that we come across all the time. She
Mhm.
was treated differently, and she was I don't know. I just don't think she got fair trial. Just gonna say it.
Well, here's the thing. She admitted she killed all the people, right?
Mhm.
So, you admit you
Yeah.
killed 7 people, probably more like 10, like, let's
Yeah.
okay, well, then you're guilty. So, so, I don't know.
Okay, so you bring up a good point because I do want to put a disclaimer up front of this. I am going to come at this through an empathetic feminist lens for Eileen,
Okay.
but there are victims here and they did not
Yeah,
deserve to die. Like, just
right.
let's be very clear.
Mhm.
Okay, she did kill
But it
people.
but it is a matter of did it happen like she said it did as she went into
Right.
this as a transactional situation as a sex worker, and it became something different than what they'd agreed to, and she killed the person in self-defense. Okay, if we're
Correct.
we're if we're doing that, then sure, but 7 plus people, maybe,
It
I don't
it
know.
got to be a lot. It got to be a lot.
Mhm. And
And
listen,
they
I mean, not
they
to I
may
don't
have been scumbags.
mhm,
Some of them.
mhm.
Certainly the one we learned about was.
Yeah.
But, they were also, somebody's father, somebody's son, somebody's brother, whatever. Okay.
I did think it
And
was interesting
again
that whoever was the adoptive mom, I think, who said that,
oh my god.
she had had, like, 400 Johns up to the point where she met the girlfriend, and then after that was when she murdered people, so
Yeah.
they're trying to say it was the girlfriend or she had influence on her, whatever her name
The
was with the
girlfriend's a
snaggletooth.
real problem.
What's her name? Taya?
Tyra?
Toya?
No, wait, hold on, I have
It's
it. Is
Tyra,
it
but it's spelled like Tyria. Just
it
Tyra.
is, but she pronounces it Tyra. Yeah. Now
Yeah,
in the
but listen,
movie,
speaking of
they
Invisalign.
rename her and they
Mhm.
recast her with what's her name? Oh god. Everybody's screaming right now. Christina
Mm.
Ricci. Christina Ricci played her in the movie.
Okay, and
Did did
did she have the teeth in the movie?
No, but did she pull off the rat tail? That rat tail when she was going to court, man. Wow,
That was
that
epic.
was
That was an
I
epic
dated a
mullet
couple
with a
guys in
rat tail,
elementary
yeah.
school with those. Yeah. Yeah.
Elementary school, okay, throwing it back. Okay.
All right, I have 8 pages of notes. You ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Now it's me
Okay.
leading.
I know, I'm excited, I love to just
Kinda
sit here
weird,
and
kinda
listen,
weird.
it's great.
Although we've done this before on Hey Bunky, but,
Oh, yeah, we have.
All right, so we open with audio from Steve Vinegar rhymes with vinegar. And
Okay.
he's a police captain telling someone he has no idea how anyone could find this vile, ugly woman attractive. And so this is how we're setting the tone for the whole documentary. Like this is the
Yeah.
opening audio. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, that
Jasmine.
I didn't like that, and by
Go
the
ahead.
way, what was, the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez with the teeth?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
remember? Okay, so in my mind, I'm like, from what I could remember, that's what she looked like female
Right. Like
version, but
just slap a blonde wig on Richard Ramirez, and
I
that
was
is
like,
going to be Eileen Wuornos.
that's how hideous she is. But then as we're seeing her, I'm like, okay,
She's actually
again,
kind of cute.
she could be cute. She just need a
Yeah.
little,
Yeah.
just a little help.
Sh-
Yeah.
She's got that Farrah Fawcett
Well,
the feathering going on in her hair.
well,
She
she
needs
was
a cut, she
trying.
needs a color. I agree, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
Jasmine Hurst is an Australian artist and filmmaker, and she was the one responsible for most of this archival footage, and she tells us that, Eileen was the trifecta. She was gay, she was female, and she was a sex worker, and she killed white men who were predominantly her Johns. And she wrote back and forth with Aileen for 8 years.
Mhm.
Mary Payne, have you ever been tempted to write a prisoner?
No, as you know, the answer is
Mm,
no. No, I've seen what it happens
mhm.
on Love After Lockup. No. Mm-mm.
Okay. I
Are
would
you tr
write Tarek Menendez.
Oh god, okay.
I feel like he and I would have some nice conversations. Or
Do
as they
you?
say on Love After Lockup, we would conversate,
You
I
would
feel like.
conversate and
Mhm.
talk about your intimacy?
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I will say about this woman that she, or no, not about Jasmine, but about the director of this documentary, Emily Turner. She did a pretty popular series called 24 Hours in Police Custody for the BBC
Mhm.
that was nominated for like 2 BAFTAs and has a really high score on IMDb. So there's that.
The same person that did this film?
Yeah. The
Well, she dropped the
director.
ball. She
Yeah.
dropped the ball on this film, I'm sorry.
I thought the film was artsy in places and I appreciate it, but
Okay.
like it needed to be, I never say this, this is going to be a first for me. It needed to be longer. It needed to
I
be a series.
I needed more information.
Yeah,
I
I
needed
agree.
more information. Yes.
So we see it is 1990 and we get this archival footage and Steve Vinegar is, oh, did you catch that this happened in Ocala, Florida, which is the same place that The Perfect Neighbor happened?
Oh, The Perfect Neighbor, that whack job.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that's now
Yeah.
that's a documentary I could have talked about. If
Yep,
it just said you
yep.
give me
This is
Aileen.
this is the same town. Same town. I don't know what's
Oh,
happening
okay. All
down
right.
there.
What's happening there? All right.
So they begin finding bodies. They find them men shot, left for dead, mostly in the woods. They find 7 bodies over the course of 12 months. It's 1990. And in every case, the victims' vehicles were found in a separate location. They're all white, middle aged men. There were used condoms and a blonde hair found at one of the crime scenes. And Vinegar loses his fucking mind that this might be a woman. Okay.
Okay.
Now we have footage from Dateline with Michelle Gillen, who
This
was a
Dateline
local
throwback was
celebrity,
something. Something.
wasn't
I
it?
was like, look at this
Wasn't it?
throwback to this Dateline. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my, listeners said that she grew up in the area, Michelle Gillen was, like, legendary, like,
She's
local
the
news
shit.
reporter,
Yes.
investigative reporter, she was the best.
Yeah.
She
Okay,
passed
cool.
away, by the way, in 2021 at the age of 66, RIP.
I'm so sorry to hear
S
that. How young? That's terrible.
66 is young, right?
That's less than 10 years older than me. So yes.
Yeah,
So
very
yes, it's
young,
very
very
young.
young.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself saying now, like, I say about 85-year-olds, "Wow, that was young," when somebody dies at, like, 85? Young.
Anybody that dies below 90, I'm like, wow, young.
Life taken too short. Life
Too
cut too
soon.
short.
Too soon. Yeah.
So they get a break in the case because somebody spots them driving one of the stolen cars, these 2 women, Thelma and Louise style. I
Yeah.
wonder, they gave a composite sketch. I wonder what that composite sketch looked like. Did it have the rat tail? Did it have the Farrah Fawcett feathering? I'm
I
curious to get my hands on
well,
that sketch.
if they just saw them driving by, hmm, interesting. I don't
Mm,
know. I don't know if you'd be able to
interesting.
pick up the rat tail in a quick drive by, but you definitely could pick up the feathering. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jackie Garreau, she's a film producer, and she was driven to find out why these women were driving around shooting men. She was the first person to sign Aileen Wuornos to do her life story. Now, this is kind of a thing that happens too, where everybody's trying to get the rights to this story,
Yeah.
and it becomes like a whole thing. There's like a book or an article or something out there about just the commercialization of this story and how that
Mm,
really fucked up the case and stuff, which is going to be part of my deep dive because I need to read about this.
okay.
So Jackie becomes really obsessed with finding the story. So she goes to Florida and she goes into all the bars that Aileen is known to frequent, including the Last Resort bar. She puts her name and like, call, hey, woman serial killer, give me a ring, and puts it on like every board. Remember how we used to put up things on
Yeah.
bulletin boards
Yeah.
and you would pull the little tab?
Hmm.
If you're a woman killing men, please pull a tab and give me a call.
Yeah. Yeah. We still have
So,
that at Bald Head Island. When you go in the post office, they have things
do
up
you
and it's like,
really?
yeah, it's like, I'm a dog sitter here all summer, or I'm a house sitter, or do you need somebody to do your lawn? And they have the thing, and they always have like the QR code, and then also the things you can
Okay.
pull off because there are some elders there that don't know about a QR code. So
QR
yeah.
QR codes, like I know how to use a QR code, but I will
Hmm.
tell you right now, I was talking to my merch person about generating one because we want to put one on a sticker. And
Yeah.
I was frozen solid with the idea of how do I make a QR code? Like I literally froze. This is technology that could just, boggle my mind forever. So she's like, I got it. Don't worry about
I
it.
think it's easy.
She's at least 10 years younger than me,
And the
at
easy
least.
Ingrid made us
Mhm.
one. Ingrid made us one, but or as my
Wow.
husband calls it, the QVC code. Yeah. He'll say
Oh,
that
does he
he'll
really?
go,
That's
yeah.
precious.
He'll go,
Mhm.
"Oh, no," he goes,
Mhm.
"The menu's on the QVC code." I go, "Okay."
That's what
I
Robin
well
Brown calls it too, the QVC code. Okay. So they do catch her, and the way that they catch her is there is a fingerprint found on one of the victim's items in a pawn shop, and they also eventually tie her to a palm print on somebody's car. So like she's just leaving prints all over the place.
Yeah.
And Vinegar thinks, Mary Payne, that the good Lord was guiding the investigation. And
Huh,
yeah,
interesting.
and he brought them to the last resort bar and they coax her out of the bar and they arrest her. I never knew, you see this a lot on crime shows. I never know why they have to get the person outside of the venue to arrest them. Like, why not just
Maybe
go in?
maybe it has to be on public property, it can't be on private property. Maybe it's gotta be on the
Mm,
taxpayer's own street versus inside the
maybe,
private property. Yeah.
maybe. So she does end up calling Jackie the day she's arrested, and she's like, I'm your girl. I'm the one. I saw your ad in the bar. I'm the one who's shooting men. You got me. So we get
Wow.
a little bit of her backstory. She says, and this is so fascinating to me. It's always interesting to me how a person describes their own childhood versus how other people describe somebody's childhood.
Yeah.
And Eileen's like, when I was little, my grandparents adopted me. My grandmother was very clean. She was decent. She didn't swear. She didn't drink. Real into Jesus and God. And grandpa was tough, but he was decent. He was moral. There were no impurities or perversion. He accidentally hit me across the face once with the belt, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And then she
Across the
says,
face with a belt, damn.
across the goddamn face. And then she
Jeez.
says when she was 14, her grandmother died from cirrhosis of the liver. Now I did look it up. You can die from that without alcoholism being the main component. Like you could have fatty liver disease or an autoimmune disease, but later we hear that grandma was an alcoholic. So
Mhm.
again, her version of this is not what other people are seeing.
Would say is like, "Oh, wow, what an idyllic happy childhood." You know, grandma was an
Yeah.
alcoholic and you got hit across the face with a belt. Doesn't sound great, but maybe she just sort of like overall, she was cared for, she was fed, she got to go to school, you know, maybe
Yep.
as a base, she felt cared for.
Yeah, and a lot of times, and I know people who grew up like this, they'll have like a really rough upbringing, but they don't know it's rough because they don't know anything else. They're
Right.
just like, I don't
Great
know.
point.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
here to
yeah.
talk about it.
Mhm.
So Jasmine says, well, now, okay. So let me back up. So she runs away at 15. She's on the road for 4 years. She says, now we meet her in person. So we're getting footage of her from 1997 where she's actually in front of us, in front of the camera. And she estimates that she was raped 30 times. And she's only 34 at the time of her arrest. That is a hard 34.
Oh, see, I would have thought 54.
Yeah, she's
Ooh,
34 years old.
wow.
So you figure she's on the road from 16 to 20. And she's like, I slept everywhere I could find shelter. Like this. Ugh. So
She doesn't
Jazz
say, like,
asks her,
why she left home. Do you know what I mean? Like, what made her then just take to the open road? Like, so there
yeah,
that's a piece that's missing too. Like, what made you
that's
just
a big
decide, "I'm just
piece
gonna
that's
drop
missing.
out of high school and do this," you know? Yeah.
And did she have brothers and sisters? Like, what
Right.
happened to them? Why did her grandparents adopt her? Where was her mother? Where's her birth
Right.
father? Like, what's
Right.
going on? We
Right.
needed a
All of it.
little bit more. Yeah. So, Jazz asks her, like, how do you feel about being raped? And she says, oh, a wussy woman, it would bother, but I'm tough, Jazz. I'm tough. Like, she is so, oh, God, my heart just breaks for her. She's like so closed off from her emotions. She can't
Yeah.
even feel sad for herself about being raped.
Right.
It's wild. It's wild. And she sees it as a weakness if people are.
Right. It's yeah. It's very much of like a shell. Like the shell of the person that's talking, not what's inside. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So in January 1991, they give a press conference talking about Eileen, and they say she is a cold blooded killer. She's a killer who robs, not a robber who kills. And, they go
That
into
was
this whole thing. Now,
interesting. Didn't you
It
think?
was interesting.
A
Yeah.
killer who robs, not a robber who kills. Huh.
Yeah.
Which
Well, they were
I
trying
don't
to make
necessarily
it
think that's true. I feel like she
I
is.
don't think it's true either because
Yeah.
they are attributing that she killed these men for their money and stuff, like whatever she took out of their wallets or,
Yeah.
pawning their watches and stuff like that, but they're not even considering self-defense. Like they think that this is a premeditated murder. And that's wild to me.
Yeah, the premeditated part, I was like, I didn't hear anything about premeditated any of the times. It went like, "Hey, tonight I'm gonna get a guy. I'm gonna kill him because we need some grocery money." I
Yeah.
didn't ever heard anything like that, and she was telling everything. So why
Yeah.
wouldn't she just tell
Yeah.
that? She knew she was already going to the chair, so why not just tell it all? Like, "Okay, I did
Yeah.
plan to kill those 4 people because I needed the money," or whatever. Yeah.
In the movie Monster, which I did not finish, I watched half of before I start because then I'm like, I need to talk about this on my deep dive, so I'm not even getting into it yet. But
Okay.
you kind of see how, and I mean, not to get all, socioeconomic issues, not to bring those in, but you kind of see how just impossible it is for somebody with no education and no family support to make anything of their lives. I mean,
Mhm.
what was she qualified to do? Like, you see her in the movie, and I don't know how true it is. It's a fictionalized account, but she's trying to stop doing what she's doing, being a sex worker, and like get a job. And nobody will hire her because she has no skills and she has
Mhm.
no education. And I don't even think she has a high school diploma. So it's like, what
Well
are you supposed to do?
well, that's what I'm
And then
asking
even
is
down to like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I'm just like, why didn't the movie tell us why she left home at 16? Like, why did she not
Right.
finish and just get a high school education? Like, why did that happen? But we don't know.
Right, and then she walks into a place, she has no nice clothes, she clearly doesn't have dental care, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Those are all judgments being made against her, but, like, what are you supposed to do?
Right,
I don't know, it just
right.
drives me crazy. So, she meets this Tyra Moore, and supposedly she is the one who encourages, Aileen to confess. They do not charge Tyra, which I thought was weird. They don't charge her with anything, and she was
Right,
present at some of the murders.
right. That was interesting to me too because, the the adoptive mom saying,
Mm,
"Does nobody notice that she never killed anybody after being with 400 different Johns?" Then once she
mhm.
met Tyra, the killing started. So that was, like, a really good point, like, how come that was never looked into? Because 'Cause they're like, "Okay, well, we've got our killer, so let's just wipe our hands of it," you know?
Right, and when they met, Tyra, from my understanding, didn't work, and Eileen was prostituting to pay the bills and to
Yeah.
give them any kind of life. Now, in the movie version, Tyra doesn't work because she has a cast on her arm, and I'm like, "Girl, you can do other things. Just
You
because you have
could
a cast, like a one little cast on the arm, like from the wrist, like maybe she broke a wrist,
yeah, but was
but
that, like but if we're talking about the killing spree was over 12 months, you don't have a cast for 12 months,
no,
generally.
no,
Okay,
no, no."
interesting. I gotta watch this movie now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's really hard to watch because what she describes in court, the rape that she describes from,
Yeah.
that what who was that Mallory? Richard Mallory?
Mallory.
Um,
Mhm.
that they show that, and it's really, really rough, so just a trigger warning there.
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good about the zip, 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 fast forward.
Yeah. So,
Turning my head.
Tyra says she calls her Lee. She talked Lee into confessing because she really didn't wanna go down for this because she had nothing to do with it, absolutely
Mhm.
nothing to do with it. And she was living with Lee for 4.5 years, and she knows how smart she is and that she probably would have talked her way out of this. So she wanted her to confess. And January 16th, 1991, that's what she does. She goes to the police department. She's here to confess murder. She starts crying. They offer her an attorney several times. She does not take one. She just keeps talking. And you're kind of
Mhm.
like, shh, shh. Because at the end of the day, yes, she committed murder and she deserves, to be punished for that. But she also deserves like legal representation and a fair trial. And
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but, the police on their end, at least they did the right thing more than once. They kept saying, "Let me you can get counseling." She's like, "What's that?" Like, "An attorney, do you want one?" "No."
Mhm.
"Okay, well, when you talk to us without an attorney," they did tell her, "We're gonna appoint one for you." She's like, "Nah." I think she was so short-sighted in the, "I'm trying to make sure Tyra doesn't get in trouble," that she couldn't see
Yeah.
how the dominoes would fall, and she's not ever gonna see Tyra again anyway, so what does it matter?
The whole Tyra of it all is so heartbreaking to me because, like, the little bit that I've read, like, you can tell Eileen, I don't know if she considered herself a lesbian or straight or pan or whatever.
Mhm,
She's definitely been with men and women, but I think that she really found safety in being with a woman after
mhm,
everything she experienced
with
with
men.
men. And I mean, let's face it, even if she was a lesbian, she couldn't be out in the
Right,
80s. I mean, you weren't going to do that.
right.
So I don't think she ever really could truly live how she was, even if she or who she was, even if she wanted to. But she was really betrayed by Tyra. Like her recording Eileen and getting her to confess and all of that, and then testifying against her in court, like, and you see her just stunned and crying like that. That's rough. That's
And I
rough.
would like to know if Tyra, made any kinda deal, right? Any kind of immunity deal,
Right. Well,
but that's
there's
not discussed.
rumors around that she was in somehow with these police officers who were like doing the movie rights. There's something up
Oh.
there. There's a lot of rumors about her. And then I
Oh.
tried to find out where she is now, like what happened to her
Yeah,
after this,
yeah,
and she's like vanished off the face of the earth. Like she's
yeah.
living a very quiet life somewhere, and people suspect she might be in witness protection. I'm not really sure.
But why
So,
would she need to be in witness protection? Because the killer's in jail,
yeah, I
so
don't know. It doesn't make sense,
that
right?
doesn't make sense. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know. So Eileen tells us from 16 to 20, she had no place to sleep or live. So I was hooking, she says. And she wound up in Daytona Beach. And we get vintage footage of Daytona Beach. And I will say that when I was a kid, I was
Mhm.
obsessed with Daytona Beach because my grandmother once
Uh-huh.
went there and brought back, do you remember Viewmasters?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where you put the
Yeah.
little disc in, you see the pictures.
Uh-huh.
She went to Disney and she got like a few of those things, and one was of Daytona Beach, and you saw the cars on the beach, and I was obsessed with it. What? You could drive a car on a beach?
I was interested in the cars on the beach too. I mean, they do that at the Outer Banks. They have a beach that you can drive on, the four-wheel
Mhm.
drive beach, but these are just like cars, like regular cars, not four-wheel drive, just driving
Yeah.
on the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
Do they
It was
still do that?
wild.
That's weird. Yeah.
I think they still do. I think. I don't know,
What's
but
that?
I
That's
was so fascinated by that
gotta
when I
be
was a
some
kid.
packed sand, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we did the Outer Banks off-roading beach recently when I went to
Yeah,
North Carolina to see my
yeah,
friends, and that could go either way because a lot of people get stuck if you don't know how to drive in sand
yeah,
and
and then
it's
if you
not
don't know how to
packed
get
sand.
and you don't
Right.
know how to get out, you're also screwed. Once you do get
Yes,
stuck, like, you
yes.
stop, you get out, you look. We did that one time, had,
Mhm.
like, a little picnic, and then we're like, "Okay, now we can't get out." So sometimes you
Yeah,
have to
you just
wait for
gotta you
somebody to
gotta
come along.
keep going.
Yeah, you gotta wait for somebody to come along with a board. They can stick it behind your tire, the whole thing, yeah.
Yep. Yep. So she was dating and she met a man whose mother, and this is all from her own words. She said she met a man who loved his mother and was like going to leave her and go back to his mother. And then she shot herself in the stomach with the 22 to get him to stay.
Yeah, as you do.
Also, in between this time, she was married and they don't talk about that. She
Yeah,
married a
there's
man
just
who was like 40 or 50 years older than her.
a brief marriage, and then a baby is somewhere also was born?
She had a baby that she gave up for adoption when she was, like, 14 or 15. They don't really talk about that. Like, there's a
Mhm.
lot missing. So,
A
she
lot.
falls in love again, that goes south, she threatens suicide again, and she heads to Key West, and when she's in Key West is when she meets Tony, which was her first actual, encounter with lesbianism, as she says, and she is real into Tony at the time. The press coverage of this is wild because one of the reporters, one guy actually says when he's reporting on the story, we look at women as being frail, but this woman is not frail. This is probably the meanest woman I've ever met. Do we view women as being frail?
I don't know. So much of the verbiage that they use in this press coverage is like, she's like butt god awful ugly, like a face only a mother could
The
love. I mean,
hooker
like
from hell, they're calling her.
the descriptions, like you do think it is going to be a Richard Ramirez, like you're terrified. And then when you see her
Yeah.
talking, you're like, okay, she does have janky teeth and crazy hair. I'd like to say again, her teeth are better than Tyra's, but she's when she's talking and stuff to the reporters and the lady that was writing the book and all that, I'm like, why are they describing her this way? I mean,
She seemed perfectly average looking. I mean,
yeah, yes, I would agree. And also, I guess that's just the way things have changed. Like you just can't get away necessarily with that now for a man or a woman on the regular news to be like, wow, did you see that fat ass? Like, you
I
just
know.
can't
I
like
know.
disparage somebody's
Well,
looks
they're trying to bring
so
back
much.
Mary Payne, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Bring it back.
So, okay, now I did not know this. I did not have this on my bingo card that this random couple who really loves Jesus decides to adopt her.
I didn't know this either. I
It,
didn't know
it's
this,
it's
but we
not
never
good.
see the dad. We never see her dad. We just see this woman.
Mm-mm. No, and
Crazy.
we know from reality shows, we know from adults adopting adults, this Vince puppy Amber, we know this doesn't go well.
No,
There's
never,
always,
never goes well.
in my opinion, there's usually nefarious reason for this, and there's a lot of stuff
Yes.
that has come out about this whole thing where they
Okay.
were
What?
clearly trying to kind of profit off her in a way. They were then in charge of selling the rights to her story and stuff like that, and
Oh.
I didn't
I
like
thought
it.
she just really believed in her Savior with her Lord Jesus Christ and wanted to save her, but you're
Well,
saying
I mean,
no, there
that's what
was something.
she's telling us, but
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
So Arlene says, I wanted to be a mom forever. Well, go to a local, I don't know, child's home or hospital and adopting. There's a million kids in foster care that you can
Right.
take care of if your
Mhm.
intentions are good.
But she wanted to adopt this 34-year-old woman to get
Hmm.
her to find
Who had
Jesus.
murdered seven
Okay.
people. Yeah.
Right. That was her dream child. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So Arlene really wanted her to accept Jesus, and she finally beat her down enough, and Eileen accepted God. So there you go. Eileen wants Arlene now to go out and do a bunch of press. And she says, Arlene is saying this, okay? Eileen just wanted to be famous. And Jackie, the producer, does say Eileen could be so nice at times, but other times she was like really, she had a short fuse and she could be a little bit of a tyrant. We meet
Mhm.
childhood friend Dawn Botkins, and she says Eileen had a horrible childhood from day one and she was kicked out. Oh, and she does say her brother and sister got to stay home. And there was a rape and there was a baby. And I just wrote, more on this, please. More on this.
This is where the documentary should have started with this.
I, I
I'd
agree.
like to see the friend talking about the terrible childhood, and then Eileen talking about how it was fine. Everything
Hmm.
was. They were moral people. They were wonderful people. No perversions. Blah blah blah. And then juxtaposed with her friend saying this with all the cut footage of other people's families that they threw in there.
And I guess documentaries can do different things, right? Like maybe I know there's a bunch of other documentaries about her. So maybe one of them goes into this whole thing, but like you should give your I almost said reader. I'm almost talking about this like it's a book, but you should give
Yeah,
your viewer enough that they don't have to go to Wikipedia. That is the standard.
yeah.
And I had to go to Wikipedia a few times. Yeah,
I was googling as I was watching it, and then you told me not to, so I stopped.
I told you to stop. Well, I like an organic reaction to things.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I'm in it blind, so here we go.
I'm organic. Here we go.
I'm organic.
So, she pleads not guilty at first, and then we see she's getting a psychiatric exam, but like that, we never hear anything else about that exam. How
Yeah, I'd
did it
like to
come
hear
back?
the actual report from the now that she's
Yeah.
not with us anymore, it seems like they'd be able to like talk. Here's what was in the report. Yeah.
Yeah. She faces 5 first-degree murder charges and she's facing death. And Tyrant Moore shows up in court with a real strong rat tail. She's just
Yeah.
breezing through there with that little rat tail. And we
Not
hear
little.
from Judge no, not little. We hear from Judge Gail Graziano, and she says this was the murder trial for Richard Mallory. And this is the person who says out of 400, no, was it her? Was it the mother? Does the mother say out of 400 John, she only killed 7?
I
I
thought
think
it was
it's,
the mother that said it, trying to say, like, after she met Tyra was when this started, but it could have been the
yeah, I
judge.
think, yeah, yeah.
It could have
It's
been the judge that
confusing
said it.
because like you're only hearing voiceover and you're not seeing the
Right.
people, so you can't match the voices.
Yes, so I could have gotten that wrong, yeah.
So now we hear a recording between Lee and Tyra says, "I am not going to jail for something that you did, Lee." And I will say that Aileen does not rebut that. So maybe she did only do it, but I think she was doing it for Tyra and for their life together.
Yeah, I don't think Tyra
I
at the
don't
time had any moral obligation to it. I mean, I don't think she was like, "God, I can't stay in this relationship. This woman is killing people." I think it was more like, "Uh-oh, she got caught, so I better say I wasn't a part of it at all."
Yeah, and she had all these recorded calls with Eileen in prison, and she was like, "They're coming after my family, they're coming after me," and she
Yeah.
used how much Eileen loved her to be like, "I need you now to go confess to keep me safe," and it was real
Yeah.
manipulative. I didn't like it.
And why would they be coming
So
after, Tyra's family? Why would they be coming after her mom or her sister or whatever? What do they know, you know?
I have no idea. So Eileen tells us that she really loved Tony. She really loved Tyra. And she says, these are her words, "I was hooking all over the Keys and on the highways, and I was threatened and I was beat up a lot. So my friend suggested I get a 22 for protection. So I did." And she said she and Tony split up. She headed back to Daytona. She met Tyra. I don't know why I put Taya. Lee loved Tyra so much. She cooked for her. She took care of the house. She provided everything. Again, I guess when you're wearing that cast, you're just rendered
No, you just
completely
gotta
useless.
sit on the couch all day. Yeah.
Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm. So, John Tanner's the lead prosecutor, and he's a real dickbag.
Yeah,
Don't like this
yes.
guy.
Yeah.
This
He's
guy
not he's
is
not into research. No.
like, if
No.
you had old lady style here, if you had a dictionary and you
Okay.
looked up 1980s conservative, bink,
Mhm.
there would be John Tanner. Like, he was satanic panic, all
Yeah.
women are whores, this kind of like real into the protect the family, if you will.
Yeah. Mhm.
So he says Eileen Wuornos is an indicator of the evil coming through our society now. And he's protecting us from porn in Florida, Mary Payne. Just so you know.
But
He's protecting you from porn.
how's he
Okay?
protecting me from porn by putting away a female serial killer?
Well, he just
Because
hates the porn. He hates the porn.
okay. So these guys, they could have been home watching porn, but instead they went out and got a prostitute and then they got killed. So who's really winning
Yeah,
here? Nobody.
that's
Just
very
let
good
them sit
point.
at home and watch porn. Yeah.
Very good point. He's running for state attorney general at the same time. So, what they leave out of this, which was wild, is that this dude had a real obsession with Ted Bundy. And
Oh.
he was like meeting with Ted Bundy regularly for like 3 years and like praying for his soul. And remember, Ted Bundy was trying to say that the porn drove him to it. So maybe, he's
Oh.
like, I saw what the porn did
Uh-huh.
to Ted Bundy.
Okay.
I got to keep it off the streets. We can't have more murderers. But like, wow,
Why was
dude.
but he was a prosecutor and he's talking to Ted Bundy like he's trying a buddy? He's a prosecutor,
Yeah,
not a
he
defense
he
attorney.
was he was just trying to save his soul.
Oh,
He's real
okay.
into God.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, just like that, Arlene was trying to do with Eileen. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we
Saved.
got a lot of
Mhm.
leans, a lot of leans.
Arlene's.
So, they take Judge Graziano off the case. And, they didn't want a woman on this case. And
Mhm.
he puts his buddy on the bench for this one.
Mhm.
Cuz, yeah. Okay.
'Cause chicks
So,
can't judge chicks. That would be
right,
no.
yeah,
Right.
might give her a
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah.
So she says, Judge Graziano says, they knew that I would give this woman a fair trial. And she even talks a little bit about like, I wanted to see what her psychiatric evaluation was going to be. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
So There's a ton of press. Producers are circling immediately to make a movie. And a CBS TV movie is in the works here, and the 3 of the cops make a deal with CBS before she has even pleaded. So, like, how is she gonna get a fair trial?
She's never gonna get a fair trial because it's turned into such a circus, you know? It's turned into such
Yeah.
a media circus that she's never gonna get a free trial.
So, Binninger
I
was
mean, a
one of
fair
them.
trial. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Fair trial, sorry.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Thank you.
Binninger was one of them, and he says, "We wanted the story told accurately." Okay, douchebag. And he says, "This cost my position." Well, good, it should have cost your fucking position.
Uh-huh.
And then I have a question for you here, I wrote. Mary Payne,
Okay.
would
Yes.
this happen today? Would these cops be fired today if they were making deals with the press behind, closed doors?
Yes, they should be. Yes, because you can't do that. You
I
as
w
a cop, you
I
can't
would
talk
hope they would be.
as we learned in the Karen retrial, you can't text your buddies from high school to be like, "You wouldn't believe this crazy bitch that we had to arrest today." You can't do that. They're not and you're really not supposed to even text your other buddies on the squad who know about the case. You're not supposed to text anybody anything.
I agree, and this is where I'm grateful that we've so much. I know a lot of people think we don't have enough transparency in the justice system, and I agree with that, but we have way more than we ever used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Could it
the
happen
jury
today? One would hope not. One would hope not.
one would hope not. The jury's
Yeah.
composed of a lot of religious people. I don't know what is going on down there in Florida, but there's a lot of religious people at this time.
Well, it's the deep
S
south and it's Florida and amen.
Is Florida considered the deep south, or is it like its own country?
It's sort of its own country, but yeah, I mean, it's about as deep south as you could go, but it's almost
Yeah.
like southeast also, you know?
Like, would you consider it the deep south? Would you say Florida's the
Oh,
deep
no.
south?
Oh, no.
Right,
No,
because
no, no,
to
no.
you, that's Mississippi,
Georgia, Alabama,
Georgia,
Louisiana,
Missouri, Alabama.
not
Okay.
Missouri. Are you kidding me? No.
Sorry.
Kentucky,
I
sorry, sorry.
apologize.
Kentucky,
So
South
what are the
Carolina.
McBees then? Are they just,
Where are they from?
they're just Southern? They're Missouri. Are they just Southern?
Sure.
Midwest? Midwest.
I would say Midwest is Missouri, but I'll get a lot of blowback on that because technically the Mason-Dixon line is in Missouri, you know? I just feel very strongly as somebody from the deep South that even Virginia, where I live now, I live in Northern Virginia, is considered South, but
Yeah.
I live here and I don't consider it the South at all,
Okay.
at all.
So the first trials, Richard Mallory, January 1992. Tanner talks about, Dickbag Tanner talks about, equal rights for men and women when it comes to the death penalty.
Okay.
Aileen sits down now with Michelle Gillen, and she can't stop talking about Montel Williams for some reason. She mentions him several times throughout this
It was the
documentary.
it was the era. That was the show, man. Yeah.
Hmm. She says she's not a serial killer. She doesn't belong here. I killed those men in self-defense. Now we see the testimony in court. And it's really graphic, guys. I don't want to go into it. Just know this man tortured her, raped her, and did horrible things. Okay.
Right.
She says she believed after all this was done that he was going to kill her. So she pulled out the gun and shot him. And she said
Mhm.
she swore right then and there that if anybody tried to rape her again, that she would defend herself.
Yeah.
Mom.
It was all about the angle of the gun and her being down and shooting up, and it was a lot of that,
Yep.
and I was like, "Okay, well, probably you can prove all that if it's self-defense, if you're on the ground shooting up."
Yeah.
But, if
I don't
anybody
feel like
cared,
they did. I don't feel like they did a lot of investigation here.
if it's just like, "She said
Because
she did it, so she did it." The end.
like, here's an example. She was talking about the rubbing alcohol in the Visine bottle.
Mhm.
Did you search the car and see if
Right,
that bottle's in there
right.
and what's in it? So
Ugh.
mom says she did great, but it was clear that John Tanner just didn't care because she was a prostitute and she was a woman. And then we see him cross-examining her, and it is probably one of the most disgusting things I ever saw because he's basically like, you get paid for sex, so what's the difference?
I just love now that you're calling that woman mom, but go ahead. Just she's mom.
And he's
The
yeah, and she stands up for sex workers. She's like, we have prostitutes out there being killed every day. And John
Mhm.
Tanner's just kind of like, well, again, you're a whore. So, what's the difference between what you do and getting raped? This guy, mm. At the end of the interview, Michelle Gillen tells Aileen, I've talked to many law enforcement officials about your case, and you know what they tell me is the biggest mistake you've made? And she's like, what? And Michelle Gillen says, you confessed. And you see Eileen's face just drop. And she's kind of like, oh, fuck, should I not have confessed? But again,
Yeah, way too late.
Tyra made her do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, way too late. Because Tyra was trying to get herself out of trouble because people saw 2 people driving that guy's car, So
Yeah.
there was 2
Yeah.
people driving that car, not just Aileen driving the car. Yeah.
Now we learn another huge problem with this trial is Tanner is able to bring in all the other crimes. Now we're kind of going through this with Rex Huberman right now, where
Mhm.
his lawyer wants him to be tried for each case individually. And the
Right.
DA's office is like, no, we're doing it, But Rex Huberman's not claiming self-defense. I feel like if you're claiming self-defense, you should have like each case is different
Yes.
and you need to have those trials separate. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's not he's not claiming self-defense. You're right, and she is. So, yeah, that's a really good point. I hadn't even thought of it like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, because he just killed people and put them all in the same spot, and hers was on a case-by-case basis. Again, she slept with over 400 people. Why didn't she kill them? Why wasn't she killing them all
Yeah.
along? Yeah.
And you have this scene where like Tanner's going after her and he's like, well, if Richard Mallory did this, then what did this guy do? And her lawyer is objecting. Aileen, don't say anything. Don't answer that. Don't talk
Yeah.
about that. But like the jury's heard it. The jury
Now they know that
knows.
there's other cases, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so like it just really it didn't feel like a fair trial to me. And Tanner admits in an interview with Michelle Gillen that he was worried the jury may not have found her guilty because of the rape and torture. Like they may have believed her. So I had a buddy who helped me bring this in. Like the judge was my buddy and he allowed me to bring this evidence in. I was like, wow, we're saying the quiet part out loud. Holy shit.
It's just a different
It was
time. It's
wild.
just yeah,
It
it's
was
wild.
wild. So the jury deliberates for 91 minutes and they come back and they sentence her to, well, they find her guilty first. They sentence her to death later, but
Yeah.
guilty of premeditated murder.
That's what I don't get. The yes, she did it. She said she did it. She killed the guy, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
premeditated. I mean, but then we've seen that quite a bit too in trials that you cover. Premeditate can mean you thought about it 5 minutes beforehand, right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So if we're going on that, did she think about it as she was being raped? Did she think, now I'm going to kill him? Okay, then that's premeditated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if today, and this is a dark thought, and I'm not being snarky and I'm not being political. I wonder if today this would be like a stand your ground situation where if she was feeling attacked, that she could shoot somebody. I don't know.
I don't know
But
because
it's
when you
not her
bring in
car.
but yeah, and you bring in it's not her car and you bring in the whole prostitution things like they agreed, they had an agreement for this exchange of, goods and services for money.
Yeah.
And then one person didn't hold up their end. I don't know. It's tricky.
It's wild. So one of the things that Tanner keeps saying throughout is that Richard Mallory he had no history of violence. There was no indication that he was a violent man. So what? And I always have a problem with that because there's always a first time.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but
Oh, yeah.
now we see
Mhm.
now we see Michelle interviewing him and she says, "Well, guess what? I found something." And she said Richard Mallory was convicted of assault with intent to rape in 1957. He spent 10 years in an institution for criminal sexual deviancy. And Tanner's like, "Oh, really?" And she goes, "The judge in that hearing believed that Mallory could present an extreme danger to society and believed he would end up getting into big trouble down the road somewhere of a sexual nature." And Tanner's going, "Oh, well, we didn't know." And she goes, "I found this in your files." It was
I love
one of
how she
Richard
was like
Mallory's ex-girlfriends.
she's like, "Do you look at the files?" And he goes, "I just flipped through the highlights." I was like, "Seems
Yeah,
like that would have jumped out a prior
yeah,
conviction for assault, battery, rape, all this stuff." I mean, crazy. I loved how she
crazy.
yeah. So then she became a hero to me at that moment.
And
Yeah.
I will say, I think that this might be the first time that this information came out in a documentary, because some of my listeners who've watched some stuff on her were saying, like, this, I did not know this. This was the first
Oh,
time this came out, but we have an interview with Michelle. So I don't know. Maybe it was like one of those things that just came out, but everybody kind of forgot about it or glossed over it, or the
it was
press
on
didn't
the
really cover
Dateline
it.
episode, but you forgot about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, right,
Yep.
right, right.
Tanner believes this information is irrelevant and she
Hmm,
deserved the death penalty.
hmm.
Okay. All right. So there you go. All right. So now she's on death row, like I said, in 1997, and she's talking about the Richard Mallory case. And she says, I was raped, but I lied about the sodomy. And she starts saying that she slipped because she was in alcohol withdrawal and she was thinking about Tyra and she was confused. And it's interesting because I feel like now you start to see that her mental health is declining. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And she's
Yeah,
starting to just be like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I did. I don't know. It's wild. So now she doesn't want to go through 6 more trials. So she decides she's going to try to plead no contest at the behest of this mother. I don't like this mother, because this mother's like, just plead guilty. It's, why on earth would you want to go through 6 more trials? And Eileen is like, my lawyers are never going to do this. So she's like, I got a lawyer for you, Steve Glazer. He's great.
uh-huh.
He'll do whatever
Yeah,
you want him to do.
yeah,
And basically, they get her to the point where she's saying, like, I just want to die and go to heaven. I'm all into this Jesus stuff now. So I'm
right.
just going to plead no contest. And while she's pleading, you see it in court, mom's sitting there laughing and smiling.
Just she's thrilled because she knows Eileen's gonna go be with Jesus in heaven, so that makes
I
her
have a
happy, and
real
also
fucking problem
she's
with it.
gonna learn a earn a lot of money off the book rights or the documentaries she's gonna be in or whatever.
I have a really, really, really big problem with that.
Where's mom
All
today?
right.
Is she still with us or no?
I don't
Mom.
know. I didn't get to her yet. I was so wrapped up in John Tanner.
Mhm, okay.
Which
You can only rage at one person at a time. I get it. I get it.
yes,
I get it.
yes.
I understand.
So she said David Spears, who's another victim, had a lead pipe, was trying to hit her. She shot him. She says, if I'm going to prison, I'm going to get me some rapists and kill them. And she's talking, she's just kind of babbling in this interview, like, not, she's coherent, but you could tell something is denigrating. No, that's not the right word. Help me. Deteriorating.
Just
Thank you.
her mental
Mhm.
health is on the decline. Yes.
And she says, I'm not a serial killer. She said, I was so drunk and lost and fucked up in the head that I turned into one. And she starts crying, saying she's really sorry for the victims and their families. And Jasmine says, those men may not have raped her, all of them, but they were icons of those who had that she didn't fight back against. And I thought
Mhm.
that was a really good summary. And
Yeah.
she said her love for Tyra was obsessive and she had a complete heartbreak when Tyra was pulling away from her. And then we meet in the end here Deidre Hunt, who was on death row with Eileen, and she says she was not mentally well.
Okay, let me tell you
And
something. I did look
go
up
ahead.
Deidre Hunt
Oh, is she
because I
is
was like,
she is she-
well,
did
I
she
was like, who
pass?
no. I was like, who is this and why do we care about Deidre Hunt? So let me just see if I could find
Well,
I think I put
she
it
was
in my
on death
notes.
row, so she could be dead.
She's not. She's not on death row anymore. Um, okay. Deidre Hunt was a former death row inmate who was incarcerated in the same prison as Aileen Wuornos, is featured in the documentaries, where she provides
Okay.
insight into Wuornos's mental state. Hunt herself, Deidre Hunt, was involved in the 1989 killings of Kevin Ramsey and Brian Chase, crimes she committed with her then partner and former employer, Coster Fotopoulos, in Daytona Beach. The slaying of Ramsey in a wooded area was infamously recorded on film, showing Deidre shooting him multiple times. She was initially sentenced
Mm,
to death, but her sentence was then changed to 2 consecutive life sentences in 1998 following legal challenges. And then it talks about how she characterized Wuornos as mentally unstable and paranoid. She's currently serving her 2 sentences at Lowell Correctional Institution in Florida. While in prison, she has worked as a law clerk and leads yoga classes.
Wow.
So Deidre has
Okay.
turned her life around in prison. She's
Okay.
become
So
a
I
law
wonder
clerk.
I wonder if what she's saying about Eileen was true. I mean, I tend to think it is because we do see footage of Eileen saying like that the prison is using sonic
They're trying to listen
waves
to
on
me.
her or something. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Or
It's
they could have
very
put her on
classic.
they could have put her on a medication that then they're not saying
Yeah.
that either. They could have put her on a antipsychotic or something that, my mom knows somebody in her, you know, uh, independent living thing. One of the ladies, a friend she's known for a long time, has started in on that, like, they're all listening, we can't turn the TV on, and you know
Yeah.
that this football game was actually played 2 weeks ago, and they're just playing it now, and the government's trying to fool you, and my mom's like, "What? My daughter's at this football game."
It's
Like,
so scary. It's so scary.
and they're like, "What happened?" And they've
Yeah.
pinpointed to some sort of antidepressive medication they had given her that had sparked, and then once
Mm,
it kicked off, it was like an entirely different person. So you do
wow.
wonder because she seemed so in the earlier interviews, so, like, headstrong and together and clear that
Yeah.
for her to then be like, "They're listening to me from the light fixtures," you do wonder if they had given her a medication and then they just didn't care enough to try to research why her
It's
personality
a good
changed so
point.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Deirdre cries talking about it. She's like, Aileen made us Eileen. It's funny because it's spelled Aileen, and I
Yes.
know 2 people named Aileen who spell it that way, but
Yeah.
it's pronounced Eileen.
Eileen, yes. Well, just
Eileen,
like
she says
Tyra is spelled Tyria, but it's Tyra. Yes.
mhm.
Yeah.
She said Eileen really begged us not to tell anyone that she was deteriorating and not to call the press or anything because she was afraid that they would give her a stay for her execution, and
Yeah.
she wanted to die. She wanted to die. It's really,
Yeah.
really sad.
Mhm.
She drops all her appeals. She's literally begging for the chair. And again, mom's sitting back there like, ha ha ha, yeah, you're going to Jesus. And I'm like, this is
It's
because I wonder if she probably would not have beaten all these charges. And I don't think she should. She murdered these people. But
yeah.
like, would she have just gotten life in prison where she could have been like a boss babe and ran a cell block or something? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And would have had secure, I know this is sad to say, but would have had secure healthcare, food, safety, security,
Mhm.
shelter, whatever. I don't know. I don't
She
know.
definitely could have had, a better girlfriend than Tyra in prison.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
But it
now
sounded
she's
like
executed.
she was just depressed and she really did want to go at the end, you know? She didn't wanna live like
Did
that in the prison, yeah.
did you appreciate the jump scare of Jeb Bush signing that death warrant? Phew.
I was like, "Whoa, where'd he come from?"
Whoa.
Wow.
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 Uh Jasmine Jasmine goes to all the way to Florida. She lives in Australia. She goes to Florida for the execution, and she said she wanted to be there for Dawn, who was still such a devoted friend to Eileen. And the execution was an event in the town. And at Last Resort Bar, like they have all of this. They have like a little altar to Lee and all of this sort of in memoriam stuff to her. That's the bar that she
Wild.
frequented that
Yeah.
she was taken out of. She was put to death, Mary Payne, on John Lennon's birthday in 2002, which is October 9th.
Wow.
Her final words were, I'd just like to say I'm sailing with the rock and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th, like the movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back. I'll be back.
Oh, she's part of the
Mhm.
rapture? I don't understand that.
Now fucking John Tanner gets to talk and he is praying for her and her victims. And he says, this is a tough business, but it's necessary. Fuck right off, dude. We need like a Michael Proctor level investigation on the cases that John Tanner has
Yeah, how
prosecuted.
old is he now? He's gotta be in his 60s or something now, right?
Yeah, he's 88, I think.
Oh,
He's
wow.
old. Yeah,
Okay.
he's old.
Well,
Yeah. So Dawn
hmm.
says in our final conversation, Lee did say she was a serial killer, which is the first time she's ever said it. But we know, Jasmine says, that this was years of rape and abuse that led to it. And that's it. That's the end. And I just wrote, wow, talk about mitigating circumstances. Wow.
You know, it's very interesting that seen regarding serial killers, and of course, generally we're talking about men, and generally we're
Yeah.
talking about white men actually that are
Yeah.
straight white men are generally serial killers. We have some others, but sometimes you know sometimes it's white men that are into little boys. I mean, sometimes it's white men that want to eat you because I don't know,
Mhm.
but generally it's white men. And what is generally they will have a good upbringing where they are super spoiled. They're always given everything they wanted. So
Mm.
it's not necessarily these guys come from this terrible background where they're so abused and they turn into killers. It's more the opposite. Like you think of a Ted Bundy, for example, just always coddled and told how special he was and told how wonderful he
Yeah.
was all the time. And that
Yeah.
whoever was that said this was like, what a great reference I have there. Whoever was that said it, wow, that's just you write that down for your reference. Was like, generally, if you look, the serial killers all have had these like the opposite of a bad childhood. They've had too good of a childhood.
Well, and that's if I'm gonna give this documentary any credit, it's that they
Mhm.
really it was a survivor narrative. Like, they really showed she was a survivor from the time
Yeah.
this kid was pretty much born. She had to scrape and get by and rely on herself, the kindness of others, the generosity of men usually, and this is what happened. And I
He
think
was,
there's like a weird and I don't I'm not glamorizing what she did. I'm really not. But like there's this almost heroic element to it. Like a lot of women I think can relate to the concept of wanting to hurt your abuser.
yeah.
And this is what
Yeah.
she was doing, and she became like this poster child for also like not being able to be out or be queer or whatever, whatever her sexuality was. Like I don't know, I just think there's there's so much to her that I'm so interested in this case now.
I would like to know if she killed those 7 guys over 12 months, how many Johns did she have in those 12 months where she killed 7, right? So let's just say
Right.
there was 200, there was 150, there were 50, there were 20. I'd love to know,
Mhm.
so why did those 7 particular guys get killed? Wouldn't it make sense that something had happened? And like she
Yeah.
said, once I shot Richard Mallory, I thought to myself, once again, if anybody tries to rape me or not what we agree to in their transaction, then I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah.
She just like once she decided, she decided. I don't know, that's I'd like to know the numbers on that. So when you do
In the
your deep research,
movie
let me know.
I will. In the movie, they make it seem like this was something she had to do very regularly because
Mhm.
Tyra was in the cast, so she couldn't work. And she was bringing home, I think I read somewhere that she was bringing home $350 every 2 weeks. Now, how do you live on that? How does anyone fucking live on that?
So
It's
she
just,
wasn't, like,
it's,
out there hooking, like, every night maybe, you
this is
know?
just my plea that we need to raise the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage, but that's a whole other podcast. So,
Yeah.
just real quick on John Tanner and his relationship with Bundy here. He was a private defense attorney in Daytona Beach, a devout born again Christian, deeply committed to his faith. In the mid 1980s, while serving as a prayer minister, Tanner met serial killer Ted Bundy, who was in prison at the time. And Tanner prayed with Bundy for over 2 years and served as his spiritual advisor during that period. He
Huh.
later said that he felt called by God to pursue a greater purpose. And in 1998 or 1988, he ran for office and was elected state attorney for Florida's
Hmm.
7th judicial district.
It's
So there we
interesting
go.
that you're it's interesting you're talking about Ted Bundy and his lawyer. I'm listening to a podcast right now on Wondery. It's Ronan Farrow's podcast, Not a Very Good Murderer. And it was
Okay.
only on Audible, and now I don't know if they have a deal, but whatever. It popped up in my Wondery app, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I wanted to listen to it before it was only on Audible." Um, and in it is this story about this woman named Cece, but she's just like maybe tried to kill all the husbands that she had. So that's the whole thing, not a
Mhm.
very good murderer because she like it
Yeah.
never happens. But there is one guy in it, it's her ex-husband, father of her kids, who says 35 years after they were divorced, he found out that she had this murder for hire thing against him. And they're like, this guy himself was quite a character. He was at one point a defense attorney for Ted Bundy. And so as you're
Oh,
saying this, I was like, "This is weird. This has come up 2 times in one day for me because I was walking the dogs
interesting.
earlier and listening to it. I was like,
Oh.
"Wow." Yeah.
Well, there was some controversy around this real quick because when Bundy's execution date approached, he had allegedly asked Tanner to grant him more time so he could make additional confessions, but like that got out and Tanner got into some like hot water about, making deals with people. So there we go.
Well, I'd like for Ted Bundy to told us all the people he killed. That would have been nice for the families.
Yeah, yeah, but he was
Unless he
running
was
for
just
reelection.
yeah,
He
unless
was
Ted
running for
Bundy was just
reelection
running yeah.
1992, so he had to really, make an example of this whore, prostitute, murdering woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what are the books that have been written? Do you know? Did Arlene write a book? Did Jasmine write a
I
book?
don't know. I don't know. I gotta dive into this because, I wanted one thing I like to do is just watch the documentary cold and give my
Mhm.
thoughts on the documentary and then do additional research, and this documentary left a lot out. I
Yeah, I
mean, I
just didn't like the
enjoyed.
way it was done with all that footage, and you're like, "This is not even them." I just didn't like the way it was done. I just didn't.
Well, another thing, Mary Payne, is I couldn't keep track who was who.
Me
Like, we
either.
know that Jasmine went to meet her and interviewed her, but then we also saw, like, Jackie had the rights to her story, but the documentary's done by a completely different person. So, like, who's doing what? I didn't
I was
understand.
I was confused too that Jasmine, who lived in Australia, also, like, brought her mother along to hang out for the execution?
Yeah, because I think what happened is her mother, the way I understand is her mother was like out and about in Florida, either lived in Florida or vacationed in Florida, and like ran into Aileen Wuornos and like said to Jasmine, "Oh, I think I saw that killer," and gave her a card or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it was something I gave her a
There's a lot of
card.
different stories. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just
So
think there's
anyway.
a lot more questions than answers here.
Yeah. So thank you
You're
for
welcome.
being here.
You're
I know
welcome.
this was not a fun one. We're usually
No.
talking about trash and laughing a lot, but we had a
That's
rat tail
true.
that lightened the mood a little bit, but I mean, that was it. It was
Oh,
really, really kind of down.
we had a
What
dick
are you doing
bag
over
named
on
John
Pink Shade?
Tanner. Yeah. Pink Shade covering 60 Days In, season 4, which has been great. We're doing that on Mugshot Monday. Tuesday, still doing 90-day HEA, which is about to go into 4-part reunion. Thursdays I'm covering Bravo. I'll also be doing live coverage from BravoCon, which starts
Oh, that'll be fun.
yeah, we're gonna just do like live on the scene. We just saw Countess Luann light up a cigarette. I don't know. Whatever we did it last time, it's very fun. We just did in our phone, and then in the day, Ingrid would put it together and put it out
Are you
on
doing that
the
on
bonus.
Patreon or free?
No, it's on Patreon. Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be
Okay.
it'll be
Pink
worth
Shade
it.
Prime. Okay. All
Yes,
right.
it's Pink Shade Prime. We will be yeah, because we'll be spilling the tea. Like we'll be telling the real dirt of what we saw. Um, we won't
Are you
be sugarcoating
prepared
it.
to approach the McBees?
No, I don't know them. I don't know. I don't. No, I
Okay.
have
Well,
seen though on the
okay.
panels and stuff that they're gonna be on. I've seen that.
Okay, here's what you need to do. You need to go
Okay.
up. They're going to be the only cowboys there, so you'll see
Okay.
them easily.
Okay.
So you need to go up to them and say, "Oh my God, are you the McBees? I listened to Little Miss Recap, and I know all about you." Because
Okay.
I'm trying to rehab
Okay.
my image with them because they hate me.
Well, I am signed up for a couple of these called Bravo Paloozas where you go into a room and you get past apps and you get 2 free drinks and the Bravo celebrities are
Okay.
in there. And
Oh, they'll
sometimes you're
definitely
like,
be in there.
yeah, well, they just mix and match, so you don't know who you're getting. I could be like I could
Okay.
win and get like 3 housewives, but then it'll be like 4 people from below deck. I'm like, "Who's that?" Like
Mm-hmm.
last time I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
"That girl's from Married to Medicine," but I don't know her name. So that'll be a McBee dynasty. That's how that'll be. If they throw in a cowboy or 2, and they only do them one
And
at a
they're
time.
they're all about brand. Like they will be covered head to toe in shit that says McBee. So you will
Okay.
see them. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be
Okay.
McBee steaks, very much
Okay.
like Trump steaks, Trump University, Trump vodka, Trump
Yes.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
Same
Mm.
thing with McBee. It'll be head to toe. McBee belts, McBee shirts, McBee
Okay.
hats, McBee everything. So
Okay. So at least if they're standing there and nobody's talking to them, at least I'll yeah. What I'll
yeah.
do is I'll let you know I'm going into one of these things. I don't know who will be in there, but
Hmm.
stay
Hmm.
alert in case I have to send you a picture and you can tell me which one it is. Yeah.
I appreciate that. And you're having a
Mm.
meetup out there, right?
Yeah, we are. Thank you. We are having on Saturday, November 15th, at 6 p.m. at the Hard Rock Cafe. And I'm doing a joint meetup with Ryan Bailey. And it is before Amy Phillips' Cabaret Amy show. So you come to mine and Ryan's little event. It's free. And then if you want to go to Cabaret Amy, you just head right on across the hall, buy your ticket, and go to Cabaret Amy. But our event is before that, and our event is free, but you do have to buy a ticket. So go on over to Pink Shade Instagram or whatever, pinkshadepodcast.com. You can find it. Ryan Bailey's as well. You just click it. You have to buy a ticket, but it's free just because we're trying to get the head count, which is getting pretty full,
Okay.
which is exciting.
Oh, that's exciting.
I know. I
Yeah.
know people are there probably mostly to see Ryan, but that's okay. I'll just hop right on that train. I don't care.
Hey, I'll take
Yeah.
it. I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun.
Real quick before we leave, who killed Kathleen Peterson?
Michael Peterson.
Okay.
I mean, I've listened to every episode y'all have done, some twice. And yeah, the answer remains as it was 4 years ago, as it was 20 years ago, as
And
it
you
is
got
today.
the mug I sent you, which says otherwise.
Doesn't matter that what the mug says. The evidence shows Michael Peterson did it. And you guys constantly refer to Michael Peterson as MP, and that also upsets me.
I know that upset you. I'm sorry.
I'm like,
all right, guys.
please, yes.
Head over to Pink Shade and check out Mary Payne. And if you sign up for Prime, I'm over there a bunch of times. It's in
Yes,
the
of
past
course.
episodes, but I'm over there a lot. So
Yeah.
you'll hear me talk about trash.
Yeah, in the future as well. Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to Murder, She Watched. To support the show, please consider joining Murder Club, our Patreon. For $10 a month, you get a bonus episode every week, plus all of our episodes ad-free, and it just helps me pay people and keep the pod going. If you'd like to support us without a financial contribution, please consider leaving a 5-star review on Apple or anywhere you listen to podcasts.